has 9 years of experience in various industries such as banking, finance, IT, and services. I met Doris when she was a HR business partner then. She was, assisting in many fronts. And I think something which most of you will be very keen on is that she helps with the development of high potentials, and she also dabbles a lot with recruitment as well. So I'll leave all that to her in terms of why this topic is so important in terms of professional identity. And so on that, I also want to mention that she has recently made a career change to embark on the entrepreneurial route on Flores D. So today, back to today's topic, she's going to share with us the purpose of candidate profiling in the recruitment process. Okay, so keep your questions coming. Again, I've already entered the code there. I'm going to stop share here and pass the floor to Doris. So take it away, Doris.
Sure, thank you, Eileen. Let me just share my screen. A very good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Eileen. Because I would also like to thank WSG and artofcareer for inviting me to speak today. Yes, I have 9 years of professional HR experience in business partnering, talent management, learning and development, recruitment for diversity and inclusion. So I was also part of the ambassador in my previous company in ED&I. And I have my best employment life in Great Eastern, DBS. I'm also into multinational corporations in the services industry, NTT Limited and AECOM. For myself, I love traveling, as you can see in my pictures. I've been to most of the region in the world, such as South Africa, Europe, and of course, Asia. My husband and I have been driving around to find spots for picnic. We even invest in camping chairs and tables. If you'd like to know where we go, text me. I'd love to share that. Recently, I'm back to cooking again. People might ask me where my recipes are. My recipes are all in YouTube. And now I'm actually an entrepreneur and started Flores D. So much about me. And let's start. What is the purpose of candidate profiling in a recruitment process? Now, before I share more, let us just do a quick poll to know exactly what is candidate profiling. That's great. Many of you got the right understanding about candidate profiling, and that's good.
Right.
But we do also have a minority may not know what exactly it is. That is fine as well. We are here to learn. So on my next slide. So what exactly is recruitment profiling or candidate profiling? So we do have a job description that focuses on describing job, whereas as our candidate profile is all about defining the ideal candidate for a specific position. Now we do have some questions like how exactly do recruiters align candidate personas with specific job requirements? What are the must-have traits and also opposed to the nice-to-have traits? So we might have all these questions in our mind when it comes to candidate profiling. So these are some of the characteristics like domain expertise, whether do you have any core skill set that you have, or behavior traits, for example, in terms of your personality, are you an organized person, and etc. Technical expertise, okay, there may be some technical skills that you have adopted, and it do bring out your character in your profiling. And of course, your number of years of working experience or relevant experience as well. And last but not least, of course, your educational background, in terms of your qualifications or your professional certification that you have actually embarked on. So this actually includes both the must have traits as well as the nice to have traits. Now, the profile actually answers the questions about motivations of an ideal candidate, the current experience, skills, and etc. So in short, ideal candidate persona is actually akin to the buyer persona that marketing sales teams use to define their ideal customer. So for example, now when I'm actually in the entrepreneur started my flourishry of business, I do create items that targeting into specific ideal customers that I want to reach out. For example, the last collections that I actually created is actually targeting for the Teachers' Day that has passed in September. And then I actually create and then mark in terms of the pricing, the size of the creations, and these are the things that I want to actually target to the buyer persona. And this is where I list out, who are the personas that I want to target. And similarly to the candidate persona, recruiters or the companies may have already list out those ideal traits, or rather profiling that they want to actually target on. So on next of candidate profiling, what is recruitment profiling, right? We say so much about candidate persona. So once there's a candidate persona is identified, the next step is actually finding this ideal candidate. And this is where candidate profiling comes into play. So there is some key giveaways that they may be searching on academic background, previous experience, even on a seniority level, depending on the position or the role itself. So these are the good starting point to create a candidate scorecard. So from my own view of perspective in my years of HR experience in recruitment, so what do us or recruiters actually look for? Now, recruiter wants to hire people who can continuously make contribution to their company. And we all know that, right? Whether be it through advancing to senior positions or bringing different sets of skills, knowledge to the table, these are what they actually look for. So they want to know your thoughts about the future of your career. Now, I'm actually specialized on talent management, and this actually helps us in HR or even the recruiters to understand more about you, your thoughts. Now, if you have laid out a career path, or you have actually some career aspiration or interest, share that, give them your thoughts about what kind of future of your career are. And are you eager to learn new things? Now, we are in the world of advanced technology, and many companies and even our government is also introducing to go into digitalization. So many companies are trying to digitalize their process, and there are always tools and platforms that we normally need to actually adopt and learn new skills. So are you actually flexible in learning such skills, or even learn new things out of your own position? So this is also something that they are also looking for. And in terms of leadership skills, especially if you are actually applying for managerial role, leadership skills such as communication, teamwork, these will actually create a vision of your team, okay, and how you actually inspire others to work towards it with you. So this actually matters because if the role is a people manager role, they want to learn from you. If you have such people manager capabilities, that you are actually attached, because you might be running a team or guiding a team or coaching them. So show them and show off your leadership skills if you do have. And next, are you clearly passionate about the company and the position that you are applying? Because recruiters also want to know whether you are motivated to perform well. Now, skills we talk about, are you eager to learn about new skills? So skills can always be learned, but passion cannot. So they want to see, how are you passionate about the position that you are actually applying. So be sure to do your homework on, understanding the organization, the job description, and then communicate your interest and excitement to set yourself apart from the crowd of applicants. Now, you can also learn how to present yourself to make a lasting impression on employers every step of the way. If you are selected for an interview or you are speaking to anyone in the organization. So I'm sure there are many learnings and videos from Art of Career that you can leverage on. I myself, as a HR professional, and I also go in to take a look in Art of Career. There are many interesting content. It is all in this social media, in Facebook, YouTube, and if you love to see those videos and you have specific content that you wish to actually look out for, you can always reach out to Art of Career, and I'm sure they are.
Doris, didn't expect you to talk about that. It's so unscripted. Hello.
No, but definitely, because I myself is a big follower of Art of Career, because they do really have very interesting content. So do check them out. So, and of course, are you cultural fit? They want to know whether you have the values aligned to the company. Now, cultural fit is extremely important fact when it comes to hiring, because they spend a lot of effort sourcing and screening, and of course they want to know that if the candidate they are actually hiring is the best fit, right? So during an interview, you will be likely to ask, whether you are or not fit for the company culture. And the best ways to convey your value is to be honest, right? And then also to be yourself, because it's actually very important to express yourself what you think in terms of your value are, and then whether it actually aligns to the company culture. So it's also a great idea to research the culture beforehand, give examples how you want to work well in the company environment as well. But no matter the company culture, you should always be respectful when touching on this topic. Now, last but not least, the number of years of relevant experience. You're talking about relevant experience and not working experience. So you can actually share your past or current key achievements, the projects, some of the highlights that you have achieved on those that you have worked on or started your career with, right? So moving next, does a candidate profile really mean so much to the recruiter? Now, when I am in a role as a recruiter, I will say very much. Why? Because candidate profile does mean a lot to us when it comes to our screening stage or identify the ideal candidate. Now, because that helps us to streamline the hiring process. And I'm sure people who applies will also want to make it sure that, where I am in that stage of recruitment process. because that also makes critical decision about the position before meeting the candidate, so that no time is being wasted and effort being wasted as well during this process. So it helps attract right fit candidates. Therefore, it's actually carefully focusing on the ideal candidate closely fit to the job description. And of course, as I touched on, streamline the recruitment process. Yes, so recruiters have include some profile qualities, and they can be easily identified through other applicants so that the employer can find the best fit, right? And next is to help recruiters to reduce unconscious biasness. Now, as many companies, as I mentioned, drive experts on ED&I in long is called equity, diversity, and inclusion. So these actually makes very clear on some of the quantifiable standards, which recruiters can evaluate every candidate and can help remove bias from the hiring process. So I'm sure that also brings why these actually are very important for a candidate profile during the recruitment process. So next, let us do another poll again. So this time, yeah, the question is, should I guess and try to fit the ideal profile for the job?
Here are the results. So Doris, what do you think?
Yeah, so that's very much balance on a yes and no. So of course, I will be sharing in my next few slides on this specific question, which we can share, and feel free to drop any questions that you have in Menti. But on my own perspective, I would say try not to fit for the role. Be yourself. That is the most important, because that's you might want to actually discover yourself, what your potential are. So don't try to fit. If let's say for me, I don't do really sales job. I'm not very good at it, but that's why I landed in HR. But now as an entrepreneur, I know this part is not as what my favor is, but I don't try to fit it, because I try to make it work. And it's actually very different from trying to get to fit on that particular profile that you want.
It's so interesting, Doris.
Yes.
Kim Long Chong said, why not educated guess? Which is also a common thing. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay.
Okay, so thank you for having this poll, and I move on to the next poll.
Yay! It's launched.
Yes, thank you. So, what should I do to prepare, for the ideal candidate profile? So people might have yes and no. So I'm sure here we'll have some different answers. So in here, I can see a lot about all of the above, and I'm sure on the floor, many of you know how to be prepared. But there are also cases where individuals may not really know who to reach out to understand, who have the relevant skills on that particular job, but that's fine. We do have around 9% on spending time to discover myself. Yes, I will say this 9%, they really know themselves, and it's very important. Yeah, and of course, that 5% spending trying to build relevant skills, there are people who really eager to learn. And so we do 2 polls asking about whether do you need to try to fit for the ideal position, and how you need to get prepared. So here are some recommended steps that I feel is actually quite important to prepare yourself to be the ideal candidate profile. For those who do not know, I think here are some of the steps that you may want to take note of, so it would help you. First of all is to understand the job description. When we say about understanding job description, it's not about scrolling and look for the keywords and boom, okay, click, apply. No, it doesn't work in this way, right? There is a purpose why there is a job description being posted online. Each of the point form is actually very important because this is the characteristics or the qualities that the company is actually looking for. So having a job description, of course, lays out the relevant skills and qualification the company is looking for. That is the first important step. So take time to read over and understand every point that is actually in the job description. And then especially those areas of experience and requirements, because there are certain responsibilities, again, in the sections that you might be surprised you may not have actually done it before. But that's not meaning that you have to do it. You need to have this criteria in order to stand out, because as I also mentioned just now, what they look for is whether are you eager to learn, even if you do not have those. So you can actually find those skills and experience in the job descriptions, and to see whether it matches your own. What I do recall myself and applying for a job, I simply read every single line, I put a tick there, yes, I've done this. This is my specialty. No, only 20% and stuff. So take down those things. And then when it comes, if you have a chance to speak to the recruiter, this is where you can also seek clarification from. Okay. I do also understand there are some job descriptions also do agree. Okay. But that's fine. But if you are interested in landing a position or applying to the company, pen down those questions, so those things that you are not sure, and have that to actually speak to the recruiters. I'm sure they will love to speak to you as well, because to the recruiters, we are also doing networking to find out where the market and the candidates are. Next will be research the organization. I also, in my previous slide, talk about, to understand the organization. So do a research, especially the company values, goals, and missions. Now, they are not there for fun, right? There is a purpose why they put them in, because this is where you can learn about more about the company culture, okay? Whether they are actually moving towards diversity and inclusion, are they going into social responsibility? So it's this kind of, elements that attract you to actually be part of them. So the employees who work at the organizations will also be listing down some of the feedback and comments either in the website or what we have on Glassdoor. There is a few platform channels that you also can learn more about that. Then look for those commonalities between the company stance and your own values and career goals, right? If this doesn't match yours, so that's fine. There is also other companies that you can also look into, right? Next will be knowing your strength. Yeah. So we do both. So all human beings have their strengths and weaknesses, right? But what is your strength? Because some people don't even know their strength. So I have talked to candidates before when we start talking about strength. I don't see them actually able to express their own strength as well. So if you think that the job that you are applying suits you and is all aligned, even the goals of the companies and values and etc., then you can now narrow down your strengths relating to the positions and the company. Now choose up to 5 to 7 professional qualities and strengths, okay, to know where you are. And of course, that will need to be aligned to the job description as well. We'll write them down. Now use these bases, of course, as part of your answers in the interview questions, right? Okay, and then if they do ask you why are you the best person for the job, or why do you fit for the job, then you have the answers to wow them, right? Then next up, knowing all the strengths and etc. Now you have to provide with examples. So providing examples, just you need to actually be quantifiable examples. You need to use quantifiable examples. So use examples like, you know, if you tell them you do have a strong communication skills, it's not enough to describe yourself, right? Describe an example for instance, you know, you have communication skills to solve a problem in the workplace, right? Or these positions lead you to actually do a lot of presentation skills of facilitating. Then tell them the examples of what you have done before. All right, so those accomplishments and stuff and that, you know, do say these as part to share with them what you have done. Last few slides, okay. So here are some key takeaways. The first thing is be yourself, right? Know what you are best in. Know yourself, okay, discover a lot about yourself, and you may also discover new perspective and different skills. So like myself, where I transit into forestry business, it is a tough choice. But however, I discover another side of beauty, whereby I learned that this kind of skills, in terms of what I have created and creating happiness for people, is though something that I like to achieve, you know, in my life. And also, agent have also mentioned in his slide, you know, reinventing himself, you know, as part of the transformation. These are the things that, you know, helps you to identify your identity. But before doing that, you need to know about yourself, right? And after all, we need to know what we're best in. And these are the strengths that brings you with you for long, right? And next, don't be afraid. Now, don't be afraid or don't procrastinate, you know, let me just do it tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow again. That's probably because you are afraid in going into that step, right? If during the recruitment process, they have laid out that there is a need for a filing test, oh, then you might have said, okay, they need me to do a assignment, a written assignment, a verbal assignment, taking a shot of myself. Now, if this is something that you kind of eliminate away because that you do not want to have the hassle to do it, or you are afraid to doing that, you lose the opportunity to get yourself in a job that you really like, right? So get to understand, and don't be afraid. Profiling test is not something that scares you away, because I did in my even my own profiling test. These actually let me find out more about myself as well, right? And to see where I am in tackling different situations. Now, profiling test has many areas that they look at. It can be logical reasoning, verbal, numerical. So these kind of tests are very common. However, they also helps in terms of the company to know where you are, whether you are suitable for the role. And it also helps you to understand if you are suitable for the role as well, right? So I do, because I was also part of the talent program in one of the MNC, where it's a fast track program, and they actually asked me to do a profiling test, right? And I did. So it took me probably a few hours, because there are a number of tests to be done. So, but the result surprised me, and I get to know where exactly I need to improve, where are those that I have already been very strong on and continue to do so. And these kind of profiling tests, I did also share with my manager back then. And it really helps us in terms of trying to collaborate and interact in our day-to-day work, because she knows where I am. And I can also use this profiling test to discuss with her and strike a conversation with my manager to see that these are the areas that I think I need to improve on. Will you be able to coach me, guide me, or where can I actually get to improve this particular element? So these are actually useful. But of course, sharing this profiling test is based on your comfortable level, right? It doesn't mean that I have mentioned you can share it with your manager or your fellow teammates. You have to share it. That is optional. So share it on your comfortable level. But this is actually a very good test assessment to know yourself, right? And then next, have confidence and patience, right? We do know we might hit on certain hiccups or obstacles, but be sure to be confident. If certain things doesn't goes into plan, or it doesn't get into the job that you are actually applying, that's fine, because something better and better opportunity is coming up on your way, right? So you can see I've been with different industries of companies, and I feel I learn a lot in different areas of companies as well. So be patient, okay? And what I have learned is, yes, we do need to work hard, but the important thing is being persevere, because once you are persevere, you will lead yourself to succeed, right? So I will also like to end with a quote, which I happened to see in Instagram just a few days ago. And then while Eileen also mentioned to me that I am speaking to about this candidate profiling in the recruitment process, and I felt this quote so relevant to today's topic. Now, you have your identity when you find out, not what you can keep your mind on, but what you can't keep your mind off. So discover yourself, be yourself. Don't be afraid on stepping that step that you want to take. So, and I Thank you for having me and listening to my sharing. You can follow me in LinkedIn. I have seen a few people following me in LinkedIn before I speak. So I love to connect with people. So you can also find me in Floris D in both Instagram and Facebook. So thank you once again.
And not only this, so thank you so much, Doris. Not only today's session, do catch her where she gives you a nice little education on the types of flowers that we probably won't see in where we are living. But anyway, less of that. But hey guys, you know, I didn't want to interrupt Doris. She has given out a lot of nuggets of gold. I have personally worked with her and we put in a lot, spend a lot of time, put in a lot of effort to draw up the success profile of candidates.